Hi there, it's me, Teacher Mike from phuketPALS.org. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at an opinion essay with a template for success. Okay, now you may be wondering, what is this template for success? Well, basically, it's like a bird's eye view. It's a structural overview of an opinion essay, which I'm going to show you, which should help you raise your band score. At the start, we'll also be looking at a little plan that I did. And we'll be looking at a model answer as well. So let's dive in. Here's the question. It says, advances in technology and automation have reduced the need for manual labor. Therefore, working hours should be reduced. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Now, if you didn't see the earlier videos when we talked about this phrase here, to what extent? To what extent do you agree or disagree? This is very, very common in IELTS Writing Task 2, and it often throws students off in a direction which lowers their scores. To what extent just means by how much. By how much do you agree or disagree? Okay, now, as I've said before, you should, when you get a question like this, you should agree 100% or disagree 100%. Even if it isn't really your opinion, just agree or disagree 100%, depending on whatever is the easiest way to argue with this particular essay. So if you decide to agree 100%, think, are the supporting ideas for this particular opinion easier? Or if I disagree 100%, are the supporting ideas and examples, etc., easier for this? If you try to say, well, I agree a little bit and disagree a little bit, if you try to do this, you may end up writing a discussion essay and not an opinion essay. So just be very, very careful with that and agree or disagree 100%. Now, in the real test and with your practice at home, you should be planning your essays. We've talked about this before, and you should be planning in and around 5 minutes or so at the beginning. It's not a lot of time, okay? You only have 40 minutes for the full essay, and 5 minutes at the start is a sizable chunk of time. So you need to use it very wisely indeed. What you need to do is read the task and the question the topic and the task very, very clearly, and make sure you understand all parts of it. Then what you need to do is decide what your thesis is. Your thesis is what you're going to do in the essay, what you're going to prove. And I'm going to disagree 100% with this premise here. And the reasons for that? Well, the long-term economic factors, such as workers have less money, families are on the brink of poverty, less spending power, negative knock-on effect for the wider economy, more employed people, and therefore higher social security. Okay, so just remember, it's all about whether manual workers should have their hours reduced because of advances in technology. And I'm saying 100%, no way they should not have their hours reduced in this way. Now, of course, I don't really disagree 100% with this, but I think it's easier to argue 100% against for this IELTS Task 2 essay. So I'm going with what's easier here. Long-term economic factors are a reason why these hours should not be reduced. Another reason the hours should not be reduced for manual workers is the social impact it would have, such as stress on those individuals and their families, mental health problems, marital breakup, crime and poverty. Okay, so you can see my two main supporting ideas for body 1 will be long-term economic factors, which I will explain. And then body 2, I'll explain the social impact of cutting manual workers' hours as well. Now you'll see there's quite a lot of ideas in here. Okay, now I just brainstorm it in the 5 minutes. I'll just write down as many ideas as I can think of. And then when I'm writing my essay, when I get into my flow, I'll use some of those and some of them I will not. I decide as I go along which ideas I'm expanding naturally, which ideas I feel are working with my flow of writing at that time. And I may not use all of them, I may use all of them. It just depends how it goes. But yeah, you'll see when I give you the model for this. Moving on. So here is the template for success. This is again a bird's eye view of the essay I'm about to show you in the next slide. 4 paragraphs. Introduction. We have sentence 1, a paraphrase of the question. Sentence 2, we have our thesis statement. Main body, paragraph 1. We have topic sentence, then sentence 2, and the middle part of the essay, it may not just be one sentence, maybe more, will explain the topic sentence. Okay, so topic sentence, explain the topic sentence, then an example. Body 2, we'll have our topic sentence, explain topic sentence, and develop our ideas. And then conclusion, we'll summarize and restate the thesis, then have a prediction or a recommendation at the end. Okay, let's move on then to the model essay itself. Here we go. Introduction. In the modern era, technological advances such as automation have led many to call for a reduction in working hours for blue-collar workers. In this essay, it will be shown that slashing the working week of manual workers could have catastrophic economic and social ramifications. First, reducing the length of the working week for workers would have negative long-term economic effects. In other words, many manual workers would quickly find themselves in a financially precarious position. If this were the case, more families would find themselves on the brink of poverty, stripped of the ability to pay for basic necessities such as food and accommodation. Also, the wider economy would suffer. Workers would have less spending power, and businesses such as local convenience stores might not be able to survive. For example, in the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher, the then British Prime Minister, closed down countless coal mines in Scotland and Northern England. The economic impact on manual workers, their families, and communities decimated a generation. Okay, so that's body 1, and the introduction there. If we just kind of take a bit of a closer look at those, there's a lot of good vocabulary in here. So just like I showed you before in our video where we talked about mining for lexical chunks and collocations, you can mine these model answers as well and pick out, nice collocations like technological advances, blue-collar workers, catastrophic economic ramifications, catastrophic social ramifications. Lots of good stuff to play with in here. Okay, now let's have a little look. First sentence, we just link in nicely in the modern era, and then we paraphrase, and then in the second sentence here, we clearly give our opinion. Okay, and then we have again linking language again first. Then we have our first our topic sentence and first main supporting idea, and then we say it in another way. In other words, okay, so good linking language. All of this relates to the transition signals. In that video when we talked about linking language and cohesion, go back and have a look at that video if you feel that this is new. So in other words, we also have things also linking together here, with, for example, linking together. It's all very nicely cohesive, this paragraph. And you'll notice as well we have an if clause in here to get us a complex sentence. And yeah, there's a nice kind of finishing sentence to this paragraph as well. The economic impact on manual workers and their families and communities decimated or destroyed a generation. Okay, so it's a good start, a good first half to the essay. And you can see that it has a very clear opinion. Okay, we're saying that manual workers should not have the amount of hours they work per week cut, because there's really, really, really negative economic implications. Next paragraph, we talk about the social implications of cutting manual workers' hours. I made this second paragraph much shorter because the first one was quite long and we don't want to go way over the word count. Second, Reducing manual workers' hours to make way for automation would result in a social crisis. For instance, if people find themselves without work, many would experience increases in mental health problems such as stress, anxiety, and depression. Over time, these issues would inevitably compound, resulting in a growth in marital problems and antisocial behaviours like alcohol and drug abuse. With reduced contracts and little hope for the future, workers would sink deeper into a vicious cycle of poverty. Okay, so that's a short but very strong and succinctly argued little opinion paragraph. There's some very strong kind of vocab in there. Social crisis, vicious cycle of poverty, the inevitable compounding of these problems. So it's the word choice is clever. The word choice supports very strongly my opinion on this one. Okay. Again, if we start mining here for collocations and lexical chunks, we have manual worker. Well, that was in the question anyway, but social crisis, we have mental health problems, marital problems, antisocial behavior, vicious cycle of poverty. So loads of good high-level vocab in there to get you the points. Okay, and also notice that each paragraph I've showed you so far is very coherent. Everything within it just supports the main idea and nothing else. And we have good examples in there as well. Okay, conclusion. As has been shown, pushing hardworking, honest people aside in favour of technology would have serious economic and social consequences. It is recommended that workers unite and join unions to protect their rights. Okay, so again, the first little clause here, as has been shown, just links our conclusion to the body. And then we kind of just restate that what we're trying to prove here, that, you know, if you favor technology over humans, there'll be economic and social outcomes, negative outcomes. And then we have a recommendation at the end that workers join unions to protect their rights for some solidarity and collective decision making. Okay, so that is it. That is the opinion essay model with the template for success. I hope you found it useful. Again, you should be write out these models. Okay, write them out in your notebook and kind of go through your band descriptors and underline or highlight why this is getting good points. Okay, use the vocab, the lexical chunks, the collocations in this to boost your vocab score as well. And yeah, keep reading, keep practicing, guys. Okay, so that's it. I'm Teacher Mike from phuketPALS.org. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.